Welcome to episode 164 of Broad Street Hustle. It's that time of year again. We're covering the Open Championship, the final major of the golf season here on Broad Street Hustle. I'm your host, Tommy Nanny, and let's go through who we have. As always, co host Jason Sayeta
Hey, Tom, what's going on?
and co host Jimmy the Chalk.
Hello again.
Hello, and we do not have Kevin, our fourth golf guy, for a couple majors now. I think he only made one, maybe two. I can't remember. As he decided to sign his kids off for travel baseball, and it has totally consumed his life. As he's playing, well, I don't even know what month we're in, August, July, and he's still playing travel baseball. So he did submit picks, so we will go through them as we give our picks, and he gave our cut guy. So we do have our normal coverage when we do that. Before we jump into it, this episode is brought to you by Giovannina's Pizza. You tried the rest, now try the best. Just quick housekeeping note: we did mention, I guess, a couple shows ago, we were going to do the trivia, which would have been last week. We did run into some technical issues. One of the guys had to drop out. So we decided to kind of push it off and just do it a little bit later. So that's why there was nothing posted. And then next week we'll probably cover Phillies after post All Star break. We'll have a few games and late pick four, pick five of Saratoga as that meet is underway. But let's jump into the Open Championship. It's the 153rd Open Championship held at the Dunluce course. Is that how you pronounce it? At Royal Portrush, which is we're here about 6 years ago, I believe, was the last time it was at this particular course that Shane Lowry won. Not sure if they've made changes since then. I know Jason will probably go through a lot of that stuff, and Chalk will have some of that stuff as well. But let's just jump right into it. As we always start our golf shows, we kind of just go give an overview of what the championship is, what the golf course looks like. We'll cover some holes that are interesting, some of the characteristics of the course before we get into golfers themselves. Jason, we always start with you when it comes to that.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, we're at the Don Luce course. I'm not sure how that's pronounced either, but in Royal Portrush, which is Northern Ireland. Last played there in 2019, like Tommy mentioned. Shane Lowry won by a big amount. He won by 6 strokes. He finished 15 under. Fleetwood actually finished second, which isn't surprising. He didn't win, but and then Finau finished third, which is really surprising. You wouldn't think that this was a type of golf that he would excel in, but he finished third. Westwood and Koepka tied for fourth. So it's par 71. It's 7,381 yards. It's fescue greens, and they're very slow. The stimp meter is only 10 there. So you can imagine very slow as compared to what was it, 14 or 15 for the U.S. Open. And then any rain or weather that they get would slow it down even more. Um, Speaking of weather, it looks like it's going to Northern Ireland weather, so it's going to rain every day. And I think tomorrow afternoon is the worst. We're taping this Wednesday night, so Thursday round one. I think the afternoon is actually the worst weather of any of the 4 days. So if you're betting first round leaders, maybe take a look at guys who are starting in the morning tomorrow. But every day is rain. 3 to 4 days, it looks like the wind is 10 to 15 miles per hour. So wind doesn't look too bad. Um, and then the Friday, the wind's only 5 to 10. So um, just keep that in mind. In 2019, the four toughest
All right,
holes.
Jason's running through some technical issues. Jason, we lost you a little bit there, so I don't know. I don't know how much. I don't know if what got through was
What's
just
the
what we
last thing you
heard.
heard me say,
Uh, Weather was going
Jim?
to be real bad Thursday afternoon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the morning
Thursday
guys
afternoon.
probably have a better chance for first round leaders if you factor
Okay,
weather
yeah.
in.
Yeah. So that's basically my point there. In 2019, the toughest holes in ranking were the 11th hole was the toughest, 14th was second, fourth was third, and the 16th was fourth. Now, things have changed since then, but not much. So you can imagine those holes are still going to be tough. Um, the the fourth hole is a long par four, so you kind of need precision drive there. Fifth hole is short, par five. You need precision there. It's basically you need precision and accuracy on almost every hole in this course. Like you don't want to be caught in those creeks and bunkers anywhere.
Yeah, and then quick note too of the first 5 holes, it has 3 of the easiest and 2 of the hardest holes.
I heard
So
that
one,
too.
so I don't think one made the list that you just said, but I think it's the next one. So I think you gave 4 of the toughest holes. I think one is the fifth tough.
One
Fifth,
is very hard. One is a
yeah,
tough, but then two is very easy, right?
right.
So you can
And then
bounce
the par
back.
5 is easy.
And
So,
then in the back end, I think out of the last 5 holes, 3 of them are the toughest on the course. So it
but
kind of
one also had like the second most double bogeys or more outside of 11.
yeah,
If you remember, Rory started
yeah,
maybe the first round with like a quadruple bogey because you can. There's a lot of out of bounds. You pretty much
right,
have to be dead straight or you're out of bounds.
yeah. Another interesting hole is the 16th hole. It's a long par three. They call it Calamity Corner. So kind of need to be accurate there as well. Um, and there's 3 par 5s on the course. I thought that was interesting. And then the last thing I will mention is I thought was interesting. I did some research. You kind of need a major's pedigree, I would say, for this tournament. The last 13 winners have had a first or second place finish in a prior major. So the last one that hasn't was Ustave in 2010. So I thought that was kind of interesting when looking at who you would pick to win. So I'll leave it at that, and I'll get into more of my what I look for later on.
Yeah, I think just some things. So one has, I guess they kind of like the Masters. They name a lot of their holes. So one is Yui or something like it's a guy's name. I think. And I read, so when they first opened the course, they did not own the land that was like put to the right of the fairway. It was owned by this Yui guy or Hughes guy. So it was out of bed. Basically, if you went in this yard, you couldn't play your ball. And I guess once they purchased the land, they just kept that as like an out of bounds. So that's why you have such a tight sight line there on the first hole. So kind of cool. I mean, that's why it's fun with these courses as they travel. Even with the U.S. Open, they all have like different characteristics and stories. So, it's outside of just the gambling aspect, or there are a lot of fun, like just golf adages for it. So,
Yeah.
Chalky, anything to add? Kind of on an overview of the Open tournament.
Yeah. So minor changes, if any, small modifications since 2019 when it was there. It plays 37 yards longer, so they didn't really extend any holes. But in the 2019 season, it was considered the 4th hardest course on the tour that year. And one of the things I was reading is not, obviously accuracy, pinpoint accuracy is a premium. The average, this isn't a port rush, but this over the last couple opens, the average ranking for distance off the tee for winners has been about 50. So distance off the tee driving is not a premium for these kind of courses. But one of the interesting things I read is that there's a lot of uneven footing. So you're not going to get a flat surface, especially if you have to take a drop for going into the stands. It's a lot more difficult than at any of the 3 majors that are in America. So how much some of these Americans that don't play on course like this will it affect them? Who knows? But I found that interesting. That's going to be a lot of uneven and kind of hilly type stances for players if you're not right in the middle of the fairway.
And not only that, like that takes kind of bump and run out of it because like you're not going to roll balls up there. Like you're going to have to land it up there, and it's going to have to stay, or otherwise
Yeah.
you're not getting there. Like trying to roll it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these types of courses take a lot of creativity. You're gonna, there's shots that you don't traditionally see on tour, or guys aren't necessarily practicing, but just have that in their bag to be creative. You're gonna see that a lot in this course. Yeah, drastic changes in elevation was one of the notes. And another cool part about the course is like, you can hit an iron shot and be on the green and be 150 feet away from the hole.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, now two putting isn't even is going to be very difficult. Some huge greens, which is another links style, kind of characteristic. Okay, Jason. So what are we looking for when we talk about links?
So I looked at two things in particular. I looked at strokes gained approach, and then also tee to green. Um, I think putting is not as important here because, like I said, it's slow greens. The stimp meter is only 10, um, and I kind of think that probably helps the poorer putters, I guess you could say. So I didn't look at putting as much. So strokes gained approach. I'll read the top 10. You could kind of guess who's number one. It's Scheffler. Hovland was two, Lowry three, Straka four. Now again, these are only PGA; they're not the live guys, so you kind of have to take this with a grain of salt. Five was Norlander, six Morikawa, seven Xander, eight Spawn, nine Fleetwood, and 10 Berger. Tee to green, first for Scheffler, second Morikawa, third Fleetwood, fourth Keegan, fifth Lowry, six Hoey, seven Straka, eight Siwoo Kim, nine. Can't read my writing for nine, and 10 was McElroy. So nine might have been Henley. I think it was Russell Henley. But so that's kind of what I looked for. Again, like Chalky mentioned, guys with big drives. Like I didn't take them into account at all. Like your big hitters. As you'll see with my picks, um, I don't really have big hitters in there. I have more like accurate hitters in there. So and good long iron players really are going to be that's going to be very important I think for this tournament. So kind of what I look for.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that you left out is low trajectory guys tend to do well on link style courses. So, low ball flights. Cam Smith, Shane Lowry, John Rahms, Jordan Spieth, Ryan Fox, Keegan Bradley, Minwoo Lee. So guys like that who have a lower style. I watched a video on Twitter, and DeChambeau in the practice round. Did you see him practicing like a sting? He was doing a stinger drive like off the tee. The ball was
Really?
like 8 feet off the ground, but traveling pretty far. So I
Yeah.
think you know I think these guys, depending on and that makes sense with wind, right? The ball gets caught up in the wind, and
Yeah.
you lose control. For these guys to control their ball, they want to hit a lower trajectory shot where
Yeah.
they could create the shape. So
My
something else.
problem with DeChambeau is not as much that he's this big hitter, and it's more that his iron play has been garbage pretty much for every one of these majors so far. So I just don't know if his iron play is going to be there.
Yeah, no. I was just saying, using him
I
as an
know. I'm
example
just
of a guy
you
that,
brought
yeah.
up you brought up DeChambeau. It's just he's obviously one of the top five golfers in the world, but he's a guy that I just his iron play just hasn't been good enough for me.
Yeah, Chalky, anything in particular that you put together while you were looking through it that you identified as a characteristic of many of the golfers?
I mean, I mentioned the driving thing, so looking for more accuracy over distance. Like Jason said, putting you don't want to discount it, but it's not maybe as much of a premium. And there's no big surprise, but of the top finishers last time at this course, it was a high correlation to greens and regulation. The first, third, and fourth finishers were 75% or better with greens and regulation. So scrambling is not as much of a premium here because you don't want to have to be in a position to have to scramble. So you want to be there and go without having to worry about that. Um, so that's
Yeah, these
about what I
types of
have for that.
courses too, you can easily like double bogey. You see kind of the more you'll see a lot of those scores opposed to like a bogey. You'll see the double bogey because you get in one of those bunkers. You try to get out of it, and it just creates itself. The importance of accuracy on the tee, accuracy at the around the green to the green. To Chalky's point, where like yes, I mean if you're scrambling, you're probably put yourself at a huge disadvantage to make up ground or make score. All right. We want to jump right into kind of the first go around, which is who we think is going to win the tournament. Pretty much. I mean, it doesn't have to be one solo guy. I guess you give your who you think, but maybe not necessarily all your long shots. You know how we usually do it. And Jason, I'll kick it off with you.
I'm going to give my top two. I have 7 win bets. I'll give you my top two, and then we'll come back around to me. But again, I know this is not like a slam dunk Scheffler tournament, but when you look at the stats and you discount um, odds, how could you say Scheffler can't win this tournament, right? Um, I don't know. I mean, I think to me, if you ask me who's going to win, I'm going to tell you Scheffler. But my second pick is going to be Rahm. I think he's been playing well. I think this kind of plays to his style of play. Um, he's due for sure. He's played well in the majors. Um, so I'm heavily on Rahm too. I'm heavily on those two guys, but like I said, I have 7 in total for win.
Okay, Chalky.
Yeah, it's Rom for me as top pick, and maybe that's a little biased from active bets I have from a while back. But I mean, he's been knocking on the door at this major for a number of years, so he plays consistently well in this tournament. And he's played good at times, although obviously has struggled in some of the majors this year. But he's been more consistent this year than he prior. Being on Live from when he first joined Live in 2000 and was it 24 his first year on Live. He struggled a little bit after first joining Live, but in the majors he's been more consistent this year. So yeah, of the top group, I'm making him my number one pick.
Yeah, and I'll just run through. Well, Kev gave 4 winners here, so I'll go through all 4. I don't, I can't really say which one. Rom was one of them, so no surprise there. Justin Rose was one who traditionally does well in links. Russell Henley, and then this last one. I mean, no shot to Kevin, but this is embarrassing. Tommy Fleetwood. I mean, yeah, that's just
That's burning
Fleetwood.
money. Like
Yeah,
he legitimately has to win a tournament before I ever will put money on him to win.
when he lost that last one, and whatever the ball hit a rocket, but it was still with on like that was almost impossible to lose. He had a how
So,
much shot lead with like 2 holes to play. It was like almost
so
impossible.
in Kevin's defense, the one thing I will say is he has won outside
Yeah,
of
because it's not in the United States.
yeah. So now technically he has won outside of the United States. So, but he's just never a win candidate for me.
Yeah, so I'll go through mine, and then Kevin has some more tops, but we'll cover that when we go through it. So I'll give you mine. So I looked at same stuff as Jason, but I kind of isolated, tried to keep it to the Scottish Open, the Open kind of link style courses. Looked at shots gained, looked at the let's see what I have, the shots game off tee approach and around the green, and a bunch of the same names that you guys mentioned kept coming up. But then I added putting in, and then I added a third parameter as well. Well, no, one of the guys that I added in this putting got eliminated, and I came up with the name Keegan Bradley, and that's who I'm going to go with as my winner. And he's plus 10,000 right now to win it. So if I had to give a top pick, Keegan Bradley is going to be my top pick. My second pick is John Rahm, though. So it's a clean sweep here on the Broad Street Hustle. And Scheffler can win. I just think this is the one tournament that you can't take the short odds on Scheffler. I'm okay. I was okay with taking him in the Open. He didn't win. I was okay taking him in the Masters. I was okay taking him in PJ. This one, I wouldn't be okay with taking short odds because this is the one where like you see a price a lot of times. So, not that he can't win. I just based on odds and value, I can't give it to him. So, I had Keegan as my topic, John Rahm as my second pick. Jason, did you want to go through some other things? And Keegan Bradley, I mean, shots gained, approach, greens and regulation. He's very high in total driving, which encompasses distance and accuracy. And
Yeah.
he's a low striker of the ball, which I was looking for. And he's a streaky putter. And so it's good to hear that Jason and Chalky don't put priorities on putting as much, because if he hits a streak that isn't as good, maybe it doesn't affect him as much as
Yeah.
it would in some of the other tournaments. Jason, do you want to run through a few more?
Well, I'll give you the rest of my win bets, and you could come back to me. I have first round bets, and I have top 20, and then I have my own make the cuts. So the rest of my win bets are going to be Fitzpatrick at 55-1. He's really been playing well lately. I think he changed his caddy. He's really come around in these last couple tournaments. So I thought that he had a decent value at 55-1. I have McIntyre. I did a lot of bets with Wimbledon into the British Open, and McIntyre was one of them. I still like him. I don't like him as much as I did, but because 40-1, I don't know how much value there is on him. But this seems to be a tournament that he has a shot in. Um, Victor Hovland at 30-1. He's been playing well lately. Um, he's another guy. He's good with his irons. He's not a good putter. So, again, not putting as much emphasis on putting. I thought Hovland maybe this could be a tournament that he could kind of steal. 30-1 is not great odds, but took a shot on him. And then two of my longer shots were Russell Henley at 65-1. Again, not a guy who's a big hitter. He's more accurate. He's good with his irons. Um, so I thought 65-1 was good on him. The only knock on him was I kind of kept to my theme of guys that have finished first or second in majors before winning this tournament. And he was one that wasn't, but he does have at least one top five, maybe two top fives in majors. So, I took a shot with
I
him.
mean, you keep in mind too, now you're getting to the areas of like the 65, the higher odds, where
Yeah,
chances are these guys aren't going to qualify in the parameters that typically win, because
right.
that's why they're higher odds.
Yeah,
You're just looking for that one time that they kind of break the
yeah,
trend, and you're
yeah,
getting the value to play it.
right. And then my last win bet's going to be Adam Scott, 80-1. Took a shot. I think he's the type of guy who maybe has one more in him. He's coming towards the end of his kind of career where he's going to compete at this level, I guess you could say. He's been playing well. I mean, he was right there in the U.S. Open until the last couple holes, I guess you could say, the back nine. Um, so 81, I thought there was worse bets than throwing a couple bucks on him there. So in
Yeah,
total, I have 7 win bets.
yeah. I'll give you some other guys. I have three more that I thought could win. Two made sense. One was kind of a long shot, and then I have some top 10. So Fitzpatrick was actually one of them. McIntyre was one of them. So I'm not going to go into it in detail, similar to Jason. I also have Minwoo Lee, who's kind of a longer shot. He was like plus 10,000. He was similar to, I think, Keegan Bradley, another low trajectory guy. Fits a lot of the parameters when it comes to like ball striking and things like that. And then I have some more top tens. Chalky, anything else on the win side for you?
So for legitimate win candidates, I have McIntyre as well. He's sitting right now at 45-1 on DraftKings. The other one at odds less than that. I threw a couple bucks on Hatton. Now it depends on what side of the bed he wakes up on, but if he wakes up on the right side, he can play with almost anybody. He's at 30-1. But I thought he was worth a flyer. Two of the longer shots, which really would be more top 10, top 20 picks, um, would be Spieth. He's 55 to 1 to win, but he's better than 2 to 1 to finish top 20, and he finishes top 20 about every year in this tournament. So, he hasn't been winning like he started off with, but he's consistently playing well at the Open. And then the other is Ryan Fox, who's 90 to 1 to win, but he's about 3 to 1 to finish top 20, and obviously higher if you want to go top 10.
Yeah, I mean, since Chalky started us off with some of their top 10 picks, top 20 picks, I'll just add a couple before I move to Jason. So I actually had Spieth as well. Obviously, Minwoo Lee. I had Ryan Fox as well, and I had Adam Scott. So kind of the names that you guys thrown around, um, all as potential top 10 guys, top 20 guys, and then I did have a couple first round leaders as well. But I'll let Jason throw out some of his top 10 guys.
I'll start with first round leaders.
Okay.
And I'll just name the guys like basically everybody but Scheffler for that I did for a win bet. I did for first round leader. Rahm was 28 to 1, Fitzpatrick 55. I threw in Sepp Straka 55. He hasn't played well in majors, but I kind of think this could be a tournament that he could maybe start out well and then kind of fade. I did use Hatton. I don't know about Hatton. Like he just seems to be too wound too tight as far as a winner. Guy's
He
going to
felt,
win.
yeah. I mean, you saw it in the U.S. Open. He can use his
Yeah,
tool.
but maybe he starts out the first round and plays well. Lowry again. He's proven he likes this course. So a 40 to 1 to lead after the first round took a shot. McIntyre 45 to 1, Hovland 40, Henley 65. I did throw in Keegan Bradley at 80 to 1 to lead after the first round. I just don't know if he could hang on for the whole tournament, but he could definitely get hot. Um, and then Adam Scott was 70 to 1. And just to kind of go back to that theme I mentioned earlier, I'm going to name the guys who I'm not going to name the guys who are starting in the morning. I'm going to name the afternoon guys. Now, some of these guys are unfortunately guys I bet for the first round, but guys who are playing in the afternoon on Thursday are Scott, Bradley, Harmon. Now, these are just the main guys. It's not every guy, but Harmon, Neiman, Henley, DeChambeau, McIntyre, uh, Rose.
Rory was in
Yep.
the
Yeah, I'm
afternoon.
getting him. Rose, Oberg, Hovland, Fleetwood, McIlroy, and JT. Those guys are all playing in the afternoon. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
what the weather's going to be like tomorrow.
yeah.
So
So I mean, similar first round guys, and these are I stuck with the early theme as well. So Fitz Patrick, he's a 4:25 a.m. guy, so he's
hmm
like 3 hours after first tee. Rom was a 4:58 a.m. guy. Xander was a 4:58 a.m. guy, and he was 30 to 35 to 1 to lead after the first round, as I think Jason may have froze a little. And then On is a 2:30 a.m. guy, so he's real early. He's in that first 10, 15 people, who he was like 100 to 1 to lead after the first round, so he's a super flyer to lead after round one. And just to go through Kevin's top 10, and then I'll let Jason go back to Jason. He had McIntyre, he had Keegan, he had Fleetwood, who he gave out a top 20. He had Rose Scott, and he had Goddard, who won the tournament last week. Now I will say Goddard went to Rutgers, and Kevin went to Rutgers, so it smells a little like he's just using the alumni pick. Maybe his who is this guy Justin Thomas pick, where he just picks him every. This might be his new Justin Thomas. So just to call him out on that, just to keep an eye on it. Jason.
did Chalky have first round guys? I'm
Oh,
not
for
sure.
Chalky, yeah, yeah.
Just everybody I gave out as a winner is
Okay.
25 to 1 or
Everybody.
better
He
for
bet.
first.
He took everybody in the first round.
Yeah.
No, I gave out 5 winners. They're all 25 to 1 or better for the first round, so you can bet them all.
Jason, I know
He's
your first.
covered. He'll
Did
be
you have
covered.
anybody specifically in top 10, top 20 who
Yeah,
you
I'm
want
going
to
to
talk
give
about yet?
the remainder of my bets. So my top 20 guys, I'll give you 5 guys. Fitzpatrick was plus 185. McIntyre plus 160. Scott plus 260. Hovland plus 160. And Henley plus 210. And then my guys that I'm going to leave make the cut because then we'll give out our make the cut
Yeah, use
total,
that.
and then just come back to me because I have other
Correct.
make the cut guys.
Yeah, use that after. Yeah, before we go into, I mean, is there anything else specifically around picks or nothing? Right? I mean, I think we covered top 10, top 20,
Yeah,
first
not for
round.
me. Yeah.
Chalky, anything else?
No.
Yeah, and maybe putting you on the spot a little bit. I know a couple tournaments ago I gave out Lowry as like a not to make the cut guy of a big name. Jason, you mentioned the Shambo earlier, where you're kind of, but do you see any like big name guys? I mean, Rory almost missed the U.S. Open. There were some big names. The Shambo didn't.
Yeah.
He missed the cut on the U.S. Open.
Uh,
Potential for any big name guys to not make the cut.
Everybody's going to take the Shambo, so I'm not going to say him. I'll give you Justin Thomas.
Chalky, if just thinking about it, and it doesn't have to be odds wise. Just a big
My,
name.
my clever fade was DeChambeau, so not that clever. It doesn't.
Yeah,
It doesn't play to his strengths. He has missed the cut in 3 out of 7 British Opens, and of the 4 he made the cut, he only finished top 30 once. So
Yeah, but again, what's his Mr. Cut odds? I'm sure the odds.
I can tell you right now. I mean, it's plus money.
Plus 2 something, I
It's
think.
plus money. They expect him to make it. Yeah, he's plus 230 to miss.
Yeah.
So
still pretty good.
Which Thomas, by any chance?
JT
Minus, no? Are they all
is
plus? Yeah,
No.
plus.
155.
Plus, right?
Yeah. I believe I did see. I have to try to pull this up. One of the casinos not make the cut was Rory was the most bet. Believe it or not.
Yeah, I think he wasn't he the most bet in the U.S. Open too. I feel like
He might have been.
I think
He didn't
so.
make the cut in 2019, and this is basically like his backyard.
Yeah, well, getting the quadruple on the first was kind of put him in a bad spot.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we covered everything. I guess we could start building our make the cut wager, which we always do. We are 0 for this year.
Thanks to me for last tournament.
Last
Fleetwood.
tournament was Jason. I think me and somebody else was another tournament, so at least it wasn't by myself. I want to say that Kevin might have not had a miss yet this year. I'm not sure. It's possible.
I'm not sure.
Don't know.
And Chalky, I don't know. Did you ever miss?
I had a
I
miss.
think he's the one that missed. He missed for you.
Yeah, I missed with you on the either PJ or Masters.
Oh yeah, no, we didn't. What's the one we almost all did? That Kevin missed the cut there. Chalky's guy, I think, made it.
Oh, that might have been PGA then.
Yeah. Remember, there was one
Yeah, because I think I had Connors and he made it. I think the cut. He was the only
barely.
One that,
and the rest of our guys all missed it.
So,
so no, none of us. So we really can't blame anybody. Nobody's been perfect. I mean, yeah, Jason's guy, Fleetwood, who had so many opportunities to make it late and just couldn't. But all right, let's go through. So I'll Chalky. Do you have DraftKings or what's it, FanDuel dialed up?
I have both dialed up.
All right, so I will give you Kevin's make the cut is Adam Scott.
All right, on FanDuel that's minus 215. On DraftKings that's minus 225.
Okay. I'm gonna stick with Keegan Bradley, who it's a guy I think can win.
FanDuel it's minus 215. DraftKings minus 185.
Big difference on that one, so it could factor in. Jason.
I'm going to do Matthew Fitzpatrick.
All right, Fitzpatrick is minus 280 on FanDuel, minus 290 on DraftKings.
And Chalky, your last?
Mine is Ryan Fox. He is minus 192 on FanDuel, minus 200 on DraftKings.
Okay, and what does that give us?
So, by a very small margin, the winner is DraftKings, where the 4-pick parlay pays plus 348 versus 343 on FanDuel.
Okay, so we'll see. So that is Adam Scott, Keegan Bradley, Matthew Fitzpatrick, and Ryan Fox as our make the cut. Our last shot here in a major to come out victorious. Um, all right, Jason, you said you had a few other guys that you were looking to interested in.
Yeah, I did my own make the cut. I'm trying to figure out what it came to, but I did Fitzpatrick, obviously. I did Straka, McIntyre, and Henley in mine. And I want to say that was like plus 210 or 220, something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, just by those names, it's going to be that would be a little bit less, I would think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, all right, Chalky, anything from you on any other make the cuts? Any interesting guys? Any?
Nothing interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I got some. I got two flyers, and I Cam Smith and Louis Oosthuizen, maybe a legend guy to make the cut. So two guys that I feel like have an outside shot that are going to pay pretty well. Okay, anything else? It's quicker show. Do we have any other add-ins before we sign off episode 164?
Not for me.
All right, next week we got the Phillies. We got Saratoga. We're probably due for a Jimmy D visit for one of these Saratoga shows if we can get him on.
Yeah.
Um, and this was episode 164 Broadsheet Hustle. Have a great night.